Blaise Pascal was a French mathematician, philosopher, physicist, inventor, writer. Basically, he did a lot of stuff, including what I consider to be one of the most interesting mathematical model ever created. I, of course, am talking about Pascal's Triangle, a model created when a triangle outlined with ones is formed from adding the two numbers above it. It's related to the Fibonacci sequence, where each number in the sequence is made by adding the previous two numbers. This sequence has always fascinated me, even from a young age, when I was just starting to learn what math really was, aside from using numbers to make more numbers, for many well-deserved reasons. Let's draw out Pascal's triangle to a couple of pitches. I ran out of room and decided to delete a few pitches and shrink the image. I'm going to color code these numbers based on evens and odds. Because math never changes, we can come up with a set of rules. An odd number plus another odd number will always equal an even number. Even plus even is even, and odd plus even is odd. Using these rules, we can go ahead and fill in the rest of the pattern. No numbers needed. Numbers were never needed. After a while, we start to see an interesting shape. It's Sierpinski's triangle, and I probably spelled that wrong, but this particular shape is one of the most interesting shapes in my personal opinion. It's a triangle made out of three triangles with a fourth triangle inverted in the middle, and since triangles are my favorite shape, you can see why this particular triangle fascinates me. Let's try a different color coding rule. Instead of coding by evens and odds, I'm coloring these numbers based on what the remainder is when you divide the number by 3. I wrote out a few more pitches so I could see the pattern better, and after coloring them in, I wrote out the rules. I made a few calculation errors here and there, so you can go ahead and laugh at me when I rush to fix them, but you can see that this color coding tactic still produces a constant, predictable pattern. A multiple of 3 plus a multiple of 3 will always equal another multiple of 3, for example. The list of constants in mathematics is uncountable. I was so fascinated with this pattern that I continued it for a long time until eventually I ran out of room and had to stop. In my honest opinion, this is what math should be. School teaches math in terms of what equals what, numbers making numbers, and at its most basic, that is math. But math has the potential to be so much more, something much more interesting than the numbers that go into it. I always say that math is my least favorite subject, but in reality, when put in the right context, math can be one of the raddest things in the world. When something as simple as adding two numbers to get a third can be put into a repeating pattern of colors and shapes, you start to think about the connections between numbers and other things. Maybe you want to explore how math goes into art, like my triangle patterns. Maybe you want to see how math creates music, like assigning pitches to the digits of pi, or assigning chord progressions to a randomizing formula. It doesn't matter. The point is, math is so much more than the boring stuff it sounds like, and my hope is that more people can learn to think outside the box and see this beautiful hidden side.